A couple of weeks ago, I saw that Tom Daley had released some craft kits with Hobbycraft, and ever since I've been wanting to get my hands on some and test them out. The other day, I finally went down to my local Hobbycraft and I was very pleased to see that they still had some in stock, and I picked up this Make Your Own Crochet Peach Kit. So this is by the Made with Love by Tom Daley brand, but it is an official UK exclusive in Hobbycraft. So I guess you can only get them if you're in the UK, so I'm sorry if you're watching from elsewhere. But if you are in the UK, then hopefully seeing me try this out might give you a good idea of whether it's worth going to get one yourself. So this was £6, which I thought was a really good price. It is one of the smaller crochet kits that they had because it is just like a little key ring. They did have some bigger ones. They definitely had a zebra and I think some other animals, but I can't really remember what now. But those ones I think were £12. On the box it says that you get stuffing, 1 crochet hook, 1 plastic needle, 2 plastic eyes, 2 plastic stitch markers, 3 coloured yarns, 1 keyring and 1 instruction booklet. So it sounds as though we should have everything that we need in here except for maybe scissors, but I feel like everyone has those lying around. So let's open up the box and see what's inside and we can get crocheting. I will say this packaging is really nice, like it's a little pull-out drawer. Very cute, big fan of that. So let's see. This, I'm assuming, is the stuffing in this little bag. Then we have this yarn, which is actually very soft. If you are not new to my channel, you may have seen this video where I tested out a different amigurumi kit, and I really did not like it at all. The yarn was extremely scratchy, so this is already a huge improvement on that. I think this was like £1 more expensive as well, so things are looking good. Then we have some smaller bits of yarn in green and black, and another little pouch which looks like it has the stitch markers, the needle, the keyring and the safety eyes in it. And then we have a hook which is a 2.5, which if you know me, you know I don't really go lower than a 3.5 3 at a push, but we'll make it work. It has a handle at least, which is really very much appreciated. And then finally we have the instruction booklet, which is very cute. So of course I'm not going to be telling you guys exactly what the instructions of the pattern is because it's a paid pattern and I'm not going to give it away for free. That would be weird behaviour. But I will let you know how I find the pattern, whether it's easy to follow, whether I think it would be suitable for beginners or not. I'll keep you updated with my thoughts on that. So I guess we can just get started. I'm assuming this is going to be a fairly quick project just from like looking at this. There aren't loads of rows. I don't think it should take too long. The last one that I did took way longer than I expected and I was not happy about it. But that was also kind of my fault. I just underestimated it. So let's just get going. So immediately I'm seeing like terms and abbreviations for the pattern, explaining what any abbreviations might mean, which is great. So this is immediately more beginner friendly than the other amigurumi kit that I tried. The last one kind of relied on you already knowing how to do all of the stitches, whereas this one at least has some diagrams, and I don't see what more you could do in a kit like this. So even diagrams on how to do increases and decreases. So yeah, great start. There's some pattern notes and then it just says let's begin and it gets into the pattern. So I'm gonna get started. My immediate thought is that if I was choosing and I saw this yarn, I would never pick up a 2.5mm hook. I do understand often people size down a little bit with amigurumi just to get cleaner, tighter stitches, but this yarn looks thicker than DK. I don't know, but we'll see how we get on. So starting with a magic ring. Yeah, see, already I've like split the yarn because the hook is smaller than I would have picked. Could just be a skill issue, to be honest with you. I will say if you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend using a 2.5mm hook for anything. I started with like a 10mm, I think, which was pretty big. Let's get one of the stitch markers out so I can keep track of where my round starts. I did also pick up one of the embroidery kits that he released because I've been meaning to do a video trying embroidery anyway, and I thought that might be a good way to start, and I thought the designs were really cute. So there should be another video in the coming weeks of me trying out that kit too, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Okay, I need to slip stitch. I feel like that's less common in amigurumi, but not totally unheard of. I just did my nails the other night and now I'm like readjusting to crocheting with nails on. Don't mind me looking like I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I really definitely would have chosen a bigger hook personally, but I am going to stick with this one because that's what came in the kit. I just think it's a little bit small for this specific yarn. But again, I think a lot of that comes down to preference, and I didn't put the stitch marker in. I think a lot of that comes down to preference, and I am also someone with pretty tight tension, so I generally just size up a little bit anyway. So totally, it could be a me thing. Okay, I'm just on round 3 now, and so far the pattern is really easy to understand. I've got no complaints with that at all. To be honest, I think these kind of kits are never going to be great for a complete beginner, and this doesn't claim to be. The only reason I kind of wonder about it is because I just sometimes think when you see these craft kits in a shop and they have everything in them that you would need, I think sometimes if you didn't know anything about crochet, you might assume that you would be able to do it regardless. Does that make sense? Like in the past, I've bought kits for other crafts thinking like, well, it's got everything in it. It's got the instructions. I should be able to do it. And it's not always the case. But this is much closer to being suitable for a beginner than the other kit that I tried. Miles more. Miles. So that's obviously a good thing, just in case a beginner did pick it up and want to give it a go. If you've got the basics of crochet down and you can read a simple pattern, you can absolutely do this. I'm just talking about someone who's like never even touched a crochet hook before. It would probably be quite difficult to follow this. But like I said, it doesn't advertise itself as something that's going to teach you how to crochet, so that's not anything with the product. I've lost count because I keep yapping. I think we're making this from the top down, because I think what I'm working on right now is the little like stubby bit at the top. So just trying to get used to doing a slip stitch join at the end of each round, because I feel like that's quite rare in amigurumi. I know some patterns definitely do it, but I just, not really any that I do often. Nothing wrong with it, it's just not what I'm used to. So I'm having to make sure I remember to do that each time. So I don't know exactly when this video is coming out, whether it's before or after the 2nd of November, but on the 2nd of November, the Game of Wool starts on Channel 4, which is, and they keep calling it a knitting show, but I believe it's knitting and crochet, and Tom Daley is hosting that, so I'm looking forward to watching that very much as well. Honestly, my only complaint so far is the size of the hook, and like I said, I honestly do think that's kind of just a me problem, but it makes it like a little bit more of a struggle to pull my yarn through the loops. I just find it more awkward to do that without like splitting the yarn or the yarn falling out of my hook, but definitely could just be me. Okay, I've just finished round 5. I'll show you what we've got so far. Looks like a little cute beach hat or something at the minute, but I'm going to keep crocheting off camera for a bit because at the minute I'm just sort of like locked in, focused crocheting. Won't be interesting to watch. But if I come across any problems or I have any more thoughts, then obviously I will update you guys. Next time you see me, I'll have made hopefully a bit more progress than this. Okay, I've just finished round 10, and at this point I need to add the safety eyes, so we're going to do that now, but here is what we have so far. I feel like it's turning out nicely. The pattern's super easy to follow, the yarn is good quality, the hook is not that bad on the wrist or anything, like having the handle is definitely helpful. I'm enjoying making it, so yeah. So we're going to do the eyes now, if I can get them out the pouch. It doesn't say exactly where to put them, which I would have preferred, but that's okay. I can figure it out. It's really hard to get them in because my tension is that tight with this hook. Oops. There is no holes between these stitches. I actually can't get it in. Okay, yeah, this is the first like real problem I'm coming across. I just realised it's pitch black outside and it's only 5:30. The clocks went back the other day, but that's really depressing. It's actually like pitch black out. 5:30, you joking? I always forget how early it goes dark. At least it means Christmas is approaching. Thing is, I think you get used to it quite quickly, but like that first week where it's dark this early is so jarring. I actually cannot get this eye in. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to like just force it in at this point. Maybe if I try and like open the hole up a bit with a needle, see if that helps at all. No, not really. This really hurts. I think this is probably honestly just a me thing because my tension is too tight, but like I cannot get this eye in. I've been trying to do this for literally minutes. You can literally see it's poking through, but I cannot get it past that point. Wait. I did it. Oh, thank goodness. Now I've just got to do that again. Oh, that's strange. Okay, so it says here, like, using the reference image provided, attach the threaded eyes. Fine. Then it tells you how to do the next, like, 5 rounds, and then it tells you where to put the eyes, like which row and distance of stitches. That's such an odd way to structure the pattern. I'm not sure I've done it in the right place now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I did it 1 row too late. But I think it's not the end of the world, is it? Oh, guys, I'm having the same problem again. Ah, my thumb. I feel like I'm going to have nerve damage. If you do get this kit, the only thing I'll say is try not to have too tight tension. So it'll probably help when it comes to doing the eyes. That's actually so painful trying to push this in. Like, you can see why I'm having trouble. Like, look how tight together the stitches are. Look at my thumb. That's not normal. Okay, we did it. We did it. We did it. Okay, well, that's been the first, like, real problem that I've encountered. I think it is in part my fault. I just think, like, they could have just done, like, a 3mm hook. Maybe. There's the eyes. It's done now. So, we've got rows 11 to 15 and 22 rounds in total. Then we fasten off and embroider the mouth. I honestly might not do the mouth often. I'm not good with embroidering amigurumi to the point where sometimes I feel like it ruins it. But we'll see. Then we have to do the peach leaves and then the peach hands. And then we're done. So I'm going to just keep going. I'll probably next update you when I finish the body, unless anything else comes up in the meantime. Or I guess maybe when I'm stuffing it. So I'll see you then. Okay, I've got to the point where it says to start stuffing. Again, this has taken longer than I anticipated, which is always the case with me. I just have really bad time blindness with these things, and I think I'll be like, oh, that'll take like an hour. It's nearly 7 o'clock. So I'm going to finish the body now, and then I'm going to stop for a bit, have some food. I will either do the leaves and the hands tonight, or I might do it tomorrow, but obviously it'll all just be in this video. Let's get the body finished. So stuffing is in here. Take that out. This feels like good stuffing to me. I'm hardly a stuffing expert. I've only ever used like this one stuffing. I don't even know what brand it is. The one in the last kit that I tried was like very patchy. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just not good. I didn't enjoy it at all. Look at my finger from this yarn. This is what I mean about my tension. Okay, we have 3 rounds left. Obviously we're decreasing. I kind of hate decreasing in amigurumi, especially when I'm not using chenille yarn or like a thicker yarn, because it just feels so fiddly to like decrease. Like it's hard to grip onto it. I don't know if that makes any sense. I always struggle with like this part no matter what. My hand is cramping. 2 more rounds. I've got to get this down to 6 single crochets. Tom Daley, why have you done this to me? Getting so dramatic about it. I keep stabbing myself with the hook. Maybe I'm just not good at crocheting. Okay, now we finish stuffing and then I have to do 6 more decreases. But then the body is done. Obviously I have to sew on the hands and the leaves as well, which is to be expected and so normal. I'm so bad at that. I usually do no-sew patterns, but again, that's a skill issue. Okay, I think this is the last bit that I can get in. 6 more decreases and then we can close the body. And like I said, I'll either do the leaves in the hands tonight or I'll do them tomorrow. You'll see, whatever I end up doing, it's not going to make any difference to you. So let's fasten off and close that up using the provided needle, which is here. Okay, there we go. Here is our little peach. Absolutely adorable. Love it. Like I said, I will come back to the leaves and the hands because right now I'm hungry and I'm just a little bit tired of filming, to be totally honest with you. But obviously I'll give my full thoughts on the kit at the end of the video, so do stick around to hear that. And I will see you either later on or tomorrow. Hi guys. Just lost a nail. I'll deal with that later. I'm now back to finish the rest of this little peach. I do feel like it does need a mouth now that I'm looking at it. That one eye is not all the way through either now that I'm looking at it. But I don't know if there's much I can do about that at this stage. Yeah, so I believe all we have to do now is the leaves and the hands, which should be fine. The only thing that I'm concerned about is sewing them on. If you are a regular here, you know that sewing is not my strong point. So, but we'll make it work. Let's have a look at the pattern again. Okay, so leaves next, which is with the green yarn. So we're just starting with a chain. Oh, I forgot how annoying it is to have such a small hook. It's just harder to catch all of the yarn in the hook without splitting it. Okay, I've got focus here. I feel like by the time I'd finished the peach body, I'd got used to using this small of a hook with this yarn, and now I'm not used to it again, and I'm having to readjust. Like, I don't know if you can see, but the yarn does kind of like split apart a bit. So then having to catch all of that in that tiny hook is annoying. But this, I mean, the hook size is genuinely my only complaint with this kit so far. I obviously had a hard time with the eyes, but I think I probably should have just used looser tension. If my tension hadn't been so tight, it literally wouldn't have been an issue. So, but again, that also would have been solved if it was a slightly bigger hook. So, okay, halfway through, that's one leaf, I assume. We might have to crochet down the other side of the chain. I'm not sure. I haven't read ahead. I'm just taking it as it comes. I would have done this so much quicker with a bigger hook. And I know I could have just used a big one, but I want to like actually test the kit out as it is, you know? Right, and now I just have to do the same down the other side of the chain, it would seem. Okay, the leaves are done. They are curling a bit, but it's just a tension issue, to be honest. If I just used a looser tension, it probably would have been fine, so that's on me. So I need to sew them on. It kind of looks like on the picture, you just want them like flat on the bottom, so I'll just sew them to the bottom. I did realise whilst I was doing that I was supposed to, when I fastened off, I was supposed to leave that strand there for sewing the leaves on, and I didn't. Obviously, the ends of these leaves are not in the middle where you would sew that on, so I'm going to have to weave those in, and then I think I'm just going to use some of the leftover green yarn to sew them on, is my plan. It's just me being unable to follow basic instructions, which is nothing new really, but we can still absolutely make it work, no problemo. So let's just weave these green ends into the leaves. To be honest, it's not my favourite using a plastic needle. It does the job, but I don't think I would ever choose it over a metal one. Again, I mean, so many of my issues just come down to tight tension, but like trying to get a plastic needle into tight stitches to weave the ends in is annoying because it just bends. I think if I'd have just used like a 3.5mm hook for this whole thing, I wouldn't have had a single complaint probably. Because the project I'm doing at the minute, I'm using a 3.5mm hook, and the yarn is considerably thinner than the yarn for this peach. Like, there's the difference. But here it is. Sneak peek. Back to the issue at hand. Let's cut these ends off. So I need to sew it on like that, essentially. How am I gonna... I might have to use a metal needle because I think trying to like sew into this is just going to be a nightmare with that. So I'm going to cheat slightly. Apologies, guys. How do I best do this then? I just never know how, I never know how to go about sewing, ever. And like patterns are always across the board are always just like, just sew it on. And I'm like, all right, how? Oh, I don't know what to do. It's going to be on the bottom anyway, isn't it? So at the end of the day, it's night. I don't know. Have I done it a bit far back? No, that's fine. Okay. I honestly blacked out and I don't know what I did there, but the leaves are attached to some extent, and that's good enough for me. I don't think it's even or good, but it's on. And again, this is just like an issue on my end that I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, leaves are on. Let me look at the picture again. Mine seem longer. It's just not even at all. It looks better at that angle, so we'll just keep it like that. Anywho, let's make the hands back with the peach colour. And I think I will try and embroider on a smile, because it just feels like it needs it, maybe. We'll see after the hands. I can't get into the stitch. I hate when this happens. Let me in. It's always like at the end of a row as well, innit? There we go. Okay, fasten off. I need to leave a nice long tail for some more expert sewing that I'll be doing. That was very quick and easy to make. Cute. Put that to one side and repeat for the other hand. Then we can sew those on. As always, guys, let me know in the comments what you are working on whilst you're watching this video, if anything. I do love to hear about your projects. Okay, and that is the other hand done. So I'm going to weave in the first like ends that aren't for sewing first, and then we'll figure out how to sew these on. I always get sad with like how bad I am at sewing, to be honest, because I always feel like my project is always looking really nice and neat, and then I do the sewing together and then it immediately looks like not great. It kind of ruins it a bit, and it's just purely because I don't know how to do it well. Let's have a look at how these are meant to be. Right, all right. So it would appear that it needs to go on like that. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Oh, I don't want to ruin it. It's going to upset me if it looks bad. It's okay, Laura, believe in yourself. You've got this. It's going to look immaculate. That's too low down, I think. At least get the placement right, Laura. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? I think I actually did it okay. Maybe just a bit more. I never want to overdo it either, because then I feel like that's when it ends up looking all warped and weird. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to do that and leave it at that. So now I just have to do that again, symmetrically. Symmetrical is not my forte, let me tell you. And then I'm going to try embroider in the mouth, but then we just have to figure out how to put it onto the keyring. Which is the only other thing I'll say is that I believe, I will check, but I don't think there's any instruction on how to do that, which I think would have been helpful probably. Oh, that eye is really annoying me, because why is it not all the way in? And why did I not notice that at the time? I don't even know if you'll be able to see. Like, yeah, that's not all the way in compared to this one. How did I manage that? I think I was just so glad to have done it. I probably didn't really check. It's fine, Laura, stop being pedantic. Is that symmetrical though? It just doesn't look it, but I can't put my finger on why it doesn't look symmetrical, because it is in the same spot. It's in exactly the same spot. Oh well. Okay, the hands are on. Might not have done the best job in the world, but they are on, so we'll take what we can get. Cute! I don't know how to make the leaves sit right, to be honest with you. But like, I feel like I've done a pretty good job. Do I do the smile? Wait, if I turn it upside down, it looks like a pig. That's really cute, actually. Okay, anyway, not the point. Smile or no smile, smile or no smile, smile or no smile. Let's try. Okay, deep breaths, everybody. We can do this. How? How do you do this? I don't understand. This is not instinctive to me at all. A lot of things about crochet I find quite instinctive. Not this. The one in the picture just looks so much happier. I don't hate it though, so I'm just going to leave it there. She's cute though. I do love her. Let's just check if there are any instructions on how to put the keyring on. I'm not seeing anything. I want to check the finished measurements actually. Where's my tape measure? It's meant to be 13 centimeters tall. And mine is surely not. 13 centimeters tall. Mine's about 6 centimeters tall. 13, that would be really big for a keyring though, right? 8 centimeters wide. Yeah, that's about right. And then 6 centimeters thick, it says, which I assume would be like the depth. That's about right too. Why is mine so much shorter? Did I do all the rows? I'm sure I did. Yes, I did all the rows. I don't know what I've done, but anyway, whilst I figure out how to put it onto the keyring, we can chat about my overall final thoughts, which are generally very positive. This was a miles better experience than the other kit that I tried in a previous video. Like I've said repeatedly throughout this whole video, literally I think the only thing that I would change would be to have a bigger hook. That's literally it. Do I just stab through? I don't know what to do, and there's not really a picture of it on the keyring. Oh, I use the clippy bit. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think the only thing for me would be I would have preferred a bigger hook, and I think it would have solved some of the other issues that I had. Or if I'd have just used a looser tension, but I was kind of in too deep by the time I realised that. Other than that, I would definitely recommend these kits. I wouldn't recommend to a complete beginner who has never crocheted before, because I just think you would find it like just infinitely stressful. I know I would have done. But if you have like basic crochet knowledge, yay, then you would absolutely be able to follow this pattern. It's a well-written pattern, it's a good pattern. And I also think the good thing with these kits is like now I have this pattern, you know, like I can now make it with whatever yarn and hook I choose to. You always have the pattern. And considering the whole kit was £6, I do think it's a good deal. So I would recommend the kit as long as you kind of know what you're doing with crochet. And if you also don't like the size of the hook and you're already a crocheter, you more than likely have your own hook, so you could just use whatever one you want. If I wasn't filming this video and I wasn't like testing out the kit, I probably would have just used one of my own hooks in a bigger size, and you could absolutely do that. I would buy one of these again, I think. So yeah, I'm impressed because, to be honest, generally I'm always very skeptical about kits like this because I just think sometimes you can just kind of like tell they were cheap, or the instructions aren't very clear, or the yarn is like really bad. Yes, I'm happy with this. Like I said, I did also buy an embroidery kit from this collection, so if you'd like to see me testing that out, then make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that future video. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss my next one. Thank you, bye!